Welcome to Book Buzz with Jen and Pang, a podcast focused on romance books. I'm Jen.
I am Pang.
And we're here to talk about those romance books that leave us breathless. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday because we're also going to be giving out book recommendations and reviewing new book releases.
This past weekend, I finished reading the arc for 𝐭𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐿. And by the time this podcast goes up, it's already live, so you can actually read it already. It's the third book in the Bellamy Creek series, and I have to say this one is my favorite out of the three. It's a rom-com. I love rom-com, so if you love rom-com, you definitely have to check it out. And even if you don't love rom-com, you should still check it out. And it focuses on Enzo and Bianca's love story. It's pretty much I don't want to say enemies to lovers. So when they were younger, they pretty much bump heads with each other. They don't agree. They always argue. So I kind of want to say it's called enemies to lovers, but it's not. It touches barely on enemies to lovers, but it's definitely a marriage of convenience book. You have to be married by 35 in order for the dad to give him the company. So he was going to propose to his young girlfriend that he's dating. They were only dating for like a couple months, and he was going to propose to her, but...
So how old is he?
He's 33.
And how old was the girlfriend?
The girlfriend was like, was she 18?
What?
I don't remember. Was she 18 or early? I think either 18 or very early 20s. I can remember the girlfriend. And then he was going to propose to that girlfriend with a ring that already have a carvings on it. He pretty much bought it on discount.
Seriously?
Yes. So he bought it on pretty much discount, and he was going to propose to that girlfriend. And she was like, okay, well, there's carvings on it, and we barely started dating, so she rejected him. Bianca actually witnessed that whole scene. And I don't want to go too much about it because I don't want to spoil it, but she volunteered to marry him, and they have this huge contract. They agreed that after a certain amount of time, they will separate and divorce because once he gets the company, then he doesn't need her anymore. My heart goes out to Bianca so much. If you read it, then you will understand. But oh my gosh,
Just say it. I mean, it's not really a spoiler.
I don't think it's a spoiler, but I don't know. Should I just say it?
But then again, I'm the type of person who likes spoilers.
Yeah. Yes, I don't want. So, I'm not gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. So she's a huge fan of Twilight. Bianca.
Oh my gosh. I'm definitely gonna read it.
There's this one scene, yes, that you have to really read it. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop laughing. And I legit, because I was at work reading, and luckily no one was in the office with me. So I legit bursted laughing at this one scene for the Twilight scene, and oh my goodness, it's so good. You have to read it. Their love story is really swoon worthy, really touching. I'm pretty sure I shed a few tears because I loved him so much. I have to say this one is probably my favorite book from Mulaney out of all the books that I've read. Yes, out of all the books that I've read from her, I think this one has to be my favorite.
I love the cover.
Yeah, the cover. I love the model.
I remember reading the blurb, and I'm like, I want to read it, and it's in my TBR. It's actually in my Amazon cart because I want to buy the paperback.
Yeah.
Because I have the first two paperbacks. And it's in my Amazon cart, waiting for me to hit purchase.
You should definitely buy it because it's so good.
What did you like most about it, though?
What I love most is how their relationship grew, because how they obviously butt heads with each other, and they don't want to admit it, but obviously they were attracted to each other. their relationship grew throughout the whole book. It's good.
I need to read it. Especially now that I know that she's a huge Twilight fan.
Yes. Yes, you Twilight people, you have to check this one out.
Okay, so I know we were supposed to talk about the arcs that we were reading,
Mm-hmm.
but so I ended up reading not an arc.
What?
So last week, the book cover for The Touch of a Villain by Holly Renee, I think that's how you say her last name. So I just posted it yesterday just because last week the whole winter storm shenanigan happened, so I couldn't take a picture. So I love her cover. Like, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen
it.
I
love that cover. So I went on Goodreads and I looked at her older books to see which ones she had released. And I went and bought Where Good Girls Go to Die.
Okay.
Girl, I started it this morning. I just finished it like 2 hours ago.
Oh, wow.
It was so good. It was a second chance brother's best friend romance. And this is, Holly is a new author to me. The blurb was really good. So I went into it knowing I was going to like it. And I ended up loving it. Like, my heart hurt. So a little bit about the book is it goes back and forth between the past and the present. And I'm not a big fan of those books that usually go back and forth. I don't know. It's just something like I want to know what's going on with them, like present time. And then I also like, and I feel sometimes it just, we get more of their past than their present. And it makes me end up wanting more at the end. But this book, it was like, it made more sense to look at their past. Just because it goes for when the hero was 16. And I forgot how old he is on the present time. But you understand more about what happened between them. So the book is about Livy and Parker. The book starts off with Livy in the present time. So I don't consider this a spoiler. This book was released in 2017. Why I just discovered it, I have no idea, because I should have read it a long time ago. But it starts off with Livy ran away from the boy who hurt her years, I believe it was 4 years from the present time. It starts off with a bang. Like, she ends up running into the guy she's been running from and her brother, and not a very brotherly meeting. Like I said, this was released in 2017. So I don't consider it much of a spoiler, but she is a stripper. So when she goes off to do a private dance for a bachelorette party, she doesn't realize that she's gonna do it for a group where her brother and her ex is at.
That is so awkward.
Yes. So I was reading and I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? What's going on? And it's like right away, it starts off with a bang. The hero is in love with her no matter what, because he is engaged. He's engaged. That's his bachelorette party. But again, it goes back and forth, like I said, between the present and the past. So each chapter is present, past, present, past. And I feel so bad for Livy. She's that heroine that is trying to, I guess, make the best life she can, even though knowing that her one true love isn't in her life anymore. And then now that he is, she has to see him prepare for his wedding. Parker is very alpha-ish, you can say. He's so protective of her no matter what. And he is a tattoo artist. So the book is so cute though. I like I said, I'm not a big fan of books that go back and forth. But this one,
Mhm.
it needed to go back and forth so you could understand their history and
Mhm.
see why they're at the present time.
Yes.
And I will say though, like I said, this was my first book by Holly. I legit went on Amazon and I added her other books in my cart because I liked it. I liked
Uh-huh.
it so much. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of
Mhm.
the hero and the heroine at the end, but you should read it. It's really good. So that's what I spent my day doing today, reading a new book, which makes me get more behind on my arcs. But you know what? It's
Yeah.
okay. It was worth
It
it.
was
Like
worth it.
it's
Yeah.
really good. Um, and I know I've seen a lot of reviews on her books,
Mhm.
and she's definitely that author that writes lots of book with angst, and I love it. The hero was amazing. And I think there's 3 books in the series, I think. So, but each book is a standalone. Guess who is about to buy book 2?
You.
Me. But it's really good. If you haven't read it, it's really, really good. It's a book that will have you swooning so hard,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, it's gonna have you like breaking your heart little by little. And I cried. There's a scene that I actually cried. I was like, ugh, like, and I was at work too. I was at work crying. I was like, okay, I'm so happy nobody's coming in right now. This is so awkward.
Yeah.
But it's really good. So if you haven't read it, definitely recommend it. Again, the name is Where Good Girls Go to Die by Holly Renee. But I did start, and I plan to finish today before it releases, The Kingdom Come by Monica James.
Mhm.
And you're reading it too.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think I'm a little farther into it than you are, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
Monica's books give me anxiety in a good
Oh,
way.
yeah, a lot. I shake every time I read her books.
But her books are so good. They're so good.
So good, so shaking, but it's worth it at the end. But I'm pretty sure that cliffhanger is gonna kill us. I know
Oh,
already.
I don't even want to think about it. Like, that's why I always debate if I want to read her books as they come out or wait until they all completed. Her books will keep you on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good.
Yep.
It's like what I said in the first podcast. It's like Riley James. She always throws twists that you don't see
Yeah.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're going into this book that it's all rainbows and roses and it's like thunder and
Yeah.
lightning. The book that I think my favorite book of Monica though has to be Chase the Butterflies.
Girl, that one. Don't get me started on it. That one. Ooh,
Since
so
since we're
good.
talking about Monica right now, that book has to be my favorite. But it also broke my heart like to a million pieces.
Now that one would be a good one to turn into a movie.
Yes. That ending.
Yes.
Can you picture seeing that ending on screen?
Yes. Yes, I can. It would be so beautiful.
Like that book was really good.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read it, definitely pick it up. It's a must read. But
Yes.
get the tissues ready. And if
Mm-hmm.
you drink wine, get the wine bottle out because I got halfway and I legit went and got a glass of wine.
Girl, I couldn't even get up to go do anything. I was legit stuck on my phone, flipping pages and just cry.
Thinking about it, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It was so good. Now I want to reread it.
Oh, I wanted to, but there are too many books to
I
read.
know.
I can't. why can't a day have more than 24 hours?
Girl, we were supposed to read Bridgerton this month.
I know.
How is that going?
Got pushed back. I actually read the prologue in chapter 1, but
So did I.
got tons of arcs and I put on to the side.
Anyways, so Return to Us by Corinne Michael's released.
Yes.
Okay, I have to be honest. I knew I was gonna love this book.
Yeah.
Because come on, it's Corinne we're talking about.
Yes.
But I ended up loving it so much more than I expected.
Yeah.
Like, I will tell you this. I love when Corinne writes single parent.
She's like pretty much the queen at writing single parent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I wish I could rate this more than 5 stars because I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, I don't know, maybe I'm just sentimental or whatever, but I cried. I cried towards the end. Return to Us is single parent second chance romance. Jessica is back at Willow Creek after leaving for 14 years. So Jessica and Grayson have a past. They used to date when they were younger. Grayson is what you would call the rich boy of town, while Jessica had to go through some struggles due to something that happened in her life. She was always made to think that they weren't gonna last. So instead of her waiting to get hurt, you could say she goes and rips the Band-Aid off before anybody else has a chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So she leaves, doesn't come back for 14 years after an accident. And if you read her Arrowwood Brothers, she does come out and stay for me. So if you read that book, you know what happens. If you haven't read it, that's fine. This is a new standalone series that she has.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did read Stay For Me, then you know what happens, and that's what takes her back home. And I remember when you read it, because you read it first before I read it, you said that it was different than what she usually writes.
Yes.
And I agree. I have to say I agree. Because it's not your typical enemies to lover second chance romance. It's actually, I will say I felt so bad for Jessica.
Yeah.
Like my heart hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this as a second chance friends to lovers.
Yeah.
You could say single parent. I mean, I think Jessica has to be my favorite heroine by Corinne.
Yeah.
To date. Mm-hmm. Just because she is so strong. Like I said, my heart hurt for her.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then there's a certain scenes you can say that I legit was like, I hate you, Corinne. I can't believe you're making this poor woman go through this. Like, are you kidding me? This book has all the feels.
Yeah.
It will make you cry. It will make you laugh. It will make you smile, get mad. Mm-hmm. I got mad at Corinne like all the time, right, reading this book. It has all the feels. I loved it. It.
I love how, like you said earlier, it's totally different. And I was not expecting it. I totally thought they're gonna legit strangle each other because he was so mad. He was pissed at her for just leaving him.
Coming back.
Yeah, and now she's back. I legit thought they're gonna strangle each other, but it wasn't like that. And I did message Corinne. I was like, I was not expecting this. I love it. The way how Grayson protects Jessica, I think it's so swoon worthy. I was like, oh my goodness, I need a Grayson in my life. He kind of pissed me off at the end though, but besides that, he is what book boyfriend goals.
Well, because he's been through so much too.
Yeah.
So just like Jessica, who hasn't had an easy life, he hasn't had one either.
Yeah.
I mean, not getting into details to not spoil for those who haven't read it. He's not, like you said, I thought it was going to go a different route because when they come face to face for the first time in 14 years,
yeah,
his reaction is what I thought was going to be his reaction throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
I would say his love for her is so strong. He doesn't hide it with anger.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to give much away, but there's a certain scene that's when I was like, that's it. I love him. Love him. And plus, seeing him as a dad, my heart, like that little girl was the cutest. And that's why I'm telling you, Corinne is like amazing at single parents.
Yeah.
Because she did it with Come Back For Me.
Yeah.
That little girl in the book was amazing.
Yeah.
And like you said, she's the queen of single parent. I loved it. Each book is a standalone. Yeah. So don't think it ends in a cliffhanger. It ends in a way to where it gets you prepared for the second book.
Yeah.
Which I needed.
I need it too. When can we get it?
If you didn't know, one of the characters that is going to get a book in the series was Oliver, who is a brother in the series and who's going to get a book, his own book, which just breaking my heart, Corinne. Just, it's the last book in the series. Don't laugh. It breaks my heart. So he came out in the one for me. And I remember when I read that book, I was like, I want Oliver to have a book. And I remember I told her, and she goes, no. And I was like, no, he's like, I love him. Like, I want him to have a book. And I remember her telling me, he's not that great. Calm down. And I'm just like, yes, he is. And I remember when she first said that she was going to write his book and then is torturing me again because she's making it the last book of the series. I was so freaking excited. So I went into the series thinking, I love Oliver. Like, this is the only reason I'm reading the series because of Oliver. Girl. Grayson stole my heart.
Yeah.
And because the other siblings make an appearance on here, and they're so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't love a small town romance?
Small town's the best.
Because just like we say that Corinne is the queen of single parent, I also think she's the queen of small town romance.
Yeah.
All of her small towns are amazing. Like, every time she takes out a new series, I was like, I think I found my favorite book of hers. And then she goes and takes out another series. I was like, dang it, Corinne. But I'm so excited. I think this is the first time in a while. So for her small towns, that it's always a male, like it's always a hero who's the main one of the story. It's a guy. And then for this series, she changed it up a bit because we're going to have a female being the main one of her own book. Yeah. Which I love because I love her. Once you read Return to Us, you're going to love Stella. Yeah. And I am so excited for that cover. I wonder if she's going to make it a female cover since it is her book.
I don't know. They kind of have to match the covers too, though, It has to be all guys.
But wouldn't it be a nice little twist if she makes the second one a female cover?
Yeah. I love female covers.
Because she is, she is the main one of the book.
It is on the Parkinson's, so there is a chance that she might be on the cover.
Oh, I'm so excited. That ending left me speechless.
Yeah.
I want more. Is it April yet?
Thank goodness February is almost over, though.
The wait is going to be torture.
Yeah. One of the side characters that I can't wait I hope she gets her own book. Delia, I will love a story on her. I hope she gets one.
The best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her.
Yeah.
If you read the book, there's a certain way I want her story to go. I won't spoil it. I really hope she gets a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope, if not, we can just beg her like I begged Corinne for Oliver's book.
She's gonna torture us even more.
I really liked the sister
Mm-hmm.
of the heroine. Like I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
I always end up loving her side characters though.
Yeah.
And
like,
I hate it because then I want a story for them.
Yeah. And when they don't have a story,
I get sad. Like, it breaks my heart because I'm like, okay, but I wonder what happened to this character.
yeah.
I mentioned her a little bit in the beginning, but Amelia, the daughter,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I freaking adored her.
Yeah.
She had me cracking up. She was like so innocent, so cute, and I was just like, there's a certain scene that's in the book that I was like, oh my gosh, like she's my favorite little girl that Corinne has ever written.
Yeah.
And because she was so adorable.
Yeah.
And towards the end, there's a scene that literally had me, I was like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I think I know.
And I won't say, we'll talk about it after this and see if we're in the same page.
Yeah.
But I think we are. I was like, that is the cutest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this book, it's what I needed to read right now. Because I've been getting in a book funk. I needed to find that book that would get me out of my book funk.
Yeah.
And Corinne literally did it. Like, I find her books being so heart-touching.
Yeah.
To where it's like, they don't get you your anxiety up like other books do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make you want to pull your hair out sometime, like the ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, after what happened with the whole weather shenanigan last week here in Texas, I got into a book funk because I couldn't read because I have no electricity. So it's like I couldn't see anything. And then my phone, I had to not use it so my battery wouldn't die. So I got into a book funk.
Mm-hmm.
So that book was the first book I picked up after it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Her books make my heart skip a beat. So yeah, if you guys haven't read it, the book is now live. We are gonna put the link below in the video, so make sure you go buy it. Go on Goodreads, add it to your TBR. Just make sure you go leave a review. In the review, tell her to publish the next one because we need it. This is a must read.
Yes.
If I could, I would definitely give it more than 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be rereading this after I catch up with my arcs.
Thank you all so much for tuning in on our first episode this past Sunday. To all of those who shared, subscribed to our YouTube channel, we appreciate you all so much. Make sure you tune in next week because we will have our first paperback giveaway.
And if you're a reader, bookstagrammer, or a blogger and you want to help with some releases, Valentine PR has some signups open right now. Catherine Cowles also had a very special surprise announcement over the weekend. It's regarding one of her series. So if you want to know what that surprise announcement was, we are going to post the link in the description below. We're also going to post the links of all the books that we talk about in our podcast in the description.
Happy reading to all of you who's reading for the rest of the week. If you have any questions, message us on Instagram or leave a comment down below. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.